Welcome to the On Point Woman with Dr. Ronnee. I'm Dr. Ronnee Adesanya. I have in the studio with me today my very good friend, Angela-Lynn Ware. And, Angela, I realize that these days, Dr. Ronnee has become a trade name. I need to patent that name because a lot of people, that's all they call me. And I get you so used to it that when I started this program and called it the On Point Woman with Dr. Ronnee, I wasn't thinking, probably people don't even know I have a last name. So that's why I always talk about my last name when I do. But welcome to the On Point Woman. My good friend, she's here again. And, I just thank God for Angela. In between the episodes, one of the things I discovered about her is she likes Elmos. So I'm going to have her talk about Elmo just before she starts, because today she's going to give us advice on to young people how to follow your goals and passion. And I know she's eager to speak, but I can't help but, because I look behind her, you see Elmos. Several. I've never seen so many Elmos in my life. So what's the story behind Elmo? Can you just tell us a little bit about Elmo before we go?
Well, I think once upon a time I really was an Elmo fan, but I don't know if I was this much of an Elmo fan. However, it just kind of took a life on of its own where people just kept giving me gifts, and eventually it became this. So there's actually 6 display cases all around of my collection. We've actually talked about calling the Guinness Book of World Records to see if this like a thing
Wow.
because there's so many of them. But yeah, I think it's nice. It's always a conversation piece. And we keep it really nice and well displayed and such. So yeah, I'm proud of it.
That's good to know. So that's another side of you that we've discovered today. So thank you. So tell us again, you've been sharing with us in the last couple of weeks about your passion, how you've shifted from being passionate about wanting to be an engineer and then deciding, okay, I'll do psychology. And then at some point you said, guess what? I'm just going to do cosmetology. And now here you are as a department lead in doing great things in the entertainment industry where you are very successful. Can you just help young people today? Because that's the topic today. How can you help young people with their passion? They're passionate about their dreams. How do you pursue your passion, even against all odds, even if it doesn't look like what you set out to do initially, because that's what many of us struggle with. We have one career goal, and then when we have a passion for something else, it's difficult to tell parents and everyone, hey, guess what? I don't want to be an engineer no more. And then you say, all this social work is great, but there is more to me. How can you help people navigate that? I know I've put in a very long way, but I know you can take it on.
I don't know if we're going to like my answer, but I'm going to give it.
Go
So,
ahead.
the first thing I'm going to say is that any and everything you do begins with a thought.
That's right.
So, you want to think big and dream bigger. So, that's the nice, polite answer that we all want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the reality of it is that there's going to be people who come up against you and say, don't do this, don't do that, go to work, get a job, do this. That was never going to be the life for me. So my encouragement to anyone would be to get away from naysayers, stay
Mm-hmm.
away from people who don't support your vision. God gave the vision to you.
That's
Everybody's not going to see your vision. Everybody's not going to be supportive of your dream, but you have to stay focused, follow the path that was given to you. Now, people are going to not support what it is that you are super passionate about, but if you keep at it, I promise you that it is going to pay off. I'm so sure that my parents and my family were like, you're going to leave social work to do what? But today, I run circles around my social work salary. Today, I do something that I absolutely love, that I eat, sleep, drink I'm not late. I don't miss an opportunity to do it. I love it just that much. I'm always taking continuing education. I'm building myself up so that as I become better, I can attain better. So every round goes higher. Just never stop. Don't give up. Stay focused, have tunnel vision, and stay away from people who are not willing to support your dream. Remember that energy is transferable, and the energy that we need is that which is going to push us forward. So stay around energy that's going to propel you, that's going to uplift you, that's going to encourage you to go to the next level. And sometimes that's not going to come from the people who are closest to us. But God is always going to place people in your life that are going to stand in the gap to give you those things, because He's not going to give you something and not make a way for it to be done. So where we might think that it should come from a parent or a loved one, it may not be the source. So just make sure that sometimes we miss our blessings because we're looking for it to come wrapped in a specific package. It may not come in that wrapping, but that doesn't mean that the blessing isn't there.
That's right. Thank you for that. You know, one thing came to mind as you were talking about that. And I remember sharing a message on destiny helpers. We have both the good and the bad destiny helpers, but all of them help our destinies. Those people that are mean to us along the way, they actually help to bring the best out of us, whether we realize it or not. And it's so important that people realize that. You know, a very good example is if you look at when uh, let me find Joseph, for example, when we look at his life, you know, when his brothers sold him as a slave, they were helping him get to go. It wasn't a nice path, but he needed to go that way. And when he got to Potiphar's house, Potiphar's wife was mean to him because he wouldn't sleep with her. But he needed to get to the prison, because if he didn't get to the prison, he wasn't going to meet the butler. If he did not meet the butler will not talk about him to the king. So God used those negative situations to propel him. And from what you're saying, that's the same thing. You need to understand that there will be negative people. People, they will tell you you can't amount to anything. That's the reason to tell yourself, yes, I will prove you wrong. You know, one of my kids, when they ask him his favorite word graduating from high school, he said to prove the naysayers wrong about me. In other words, those that don't believe in you, you don't pray for them to die. You pray for them that they will live to see the glory of God in your life. And how do you do that? You pursue your passion. You go after it without slowing down. I like when you talked about negative energy. Energy is transferable. I know there are some people that you come across in life that will just drain you. Can you help them understand how to stay away from negative people? Because that's always the challenge. Oh, you don't understand. That's my friend from childhood. We went to high school together. How do you deal with that? I can see you smiling.
So I remember attending a church service once, and this was like a very freeing moment for me. So when we have fruit and it is ripe for the picking, we take it with us. But when fruit is spoiled, what do? We discard it. It no longer has use for our lives. And we should treat relationships the exact same way. Everything has a season and a reason. And sometimes when that season is over, we still try to take people with us, but that relationship is spoiled. So it's no longer ripe for the picking. Leave it where it is. Hold on to the good times and the purpose that is served, but it served its purpose and it is over. Let's not continue to perpetuate these relationships that we're nurturing just because we've been in them so long. If they're no longer fruitful, let them go.
That's right. Very good word. There is a reason for that season of them in your life. That's a very powerful word. You know, and people need to understand that. I always use the word recalibrate. You know, when you assess your relationships and you find some people, they're dead weight, you've got to let them go. If you don't, you can't get to the next level. How have you personally done that? You were going to talk about that a little bit. You talked about a liberating moment for you in church. You just said that. You probably didn't remember. You just said that
No,
now.
that was the
That
free
was it.
moment. That was
That
the
frame.
message
Oh,
that
okay.
you
Oh, that message.
cannot take people with you all the time. And we have to realize that seasons change.
That's
So let's
right.
put it in practical terms. So in the wintertime, we wear sweaters and
Mm-hmm.
coats and gloves and all of that. And then when um, the winter is over, we put those things away.
That's right.
Now it's time for something new. So then maybe now you're just wearing a fall jacket, and so that it's a little heavier, but it's not as heavy as the
The
coat and
winter
stuff.
dress code.
And then it comes a time where now it's hot. So we put even those things away, and now we have something that's even a little bit different. So seasons bring about change in our life. Sometimes we're resistant to that change, but change is what causes growth. So
That's
when
right.
it's springtime, there's a lot of rain, and rain causes flowers to grow, and they cause things to bloom, and they cause things to blossom and flourish. We need to think about life in terms of seasons, and that we cannot take everything with us. And when the seasons change, we have to change with it for the good.
Amen. Amen.
There's a
That's very
reason for the
important.
seasons changing.
That's right.
It's not there just because. So we also have to be in tune and in touch with the seasons of our lives.
That's
And
right.
that the people of our lives can't always travel with us. I do a lot of reading of what we term self-help books. Think and Grow Rich, The Magic of Thinking Big, Who Moved My Cheese, those kinds of things. And all of those things will tell you that you are the average of the 5 people that you surround yourself by the most. You know, we all have these light bulb moments, and that was one of them for me. You're
Wow.
the average of the 5 people that you surround yourself by the most. So if you want to elevate, who are you surrounding yourself with?
That's right.
Are those people going to be able to help you get to where you want to go? And if that season in your life is changing, can they go with you in that next
New
season?
season, or do you need to change? And
Sometimes it's
maybe
hard for
there
us.
are five, and two of the five are not working. You've got to drop them so that you can pick up two new ones.
And it's not to say we can't be friends anymore, but
Mhm.
we're just not on the same level. So our
Level anymore.
friendship
That's
has
right.
to change. So
That's
as
right.
I evaluate who I am, as I begin to grow from one level to the next, I have to evaluate the people that I surround myself by. It's just like saying birds of a feather flock together, or you're
That's right.
judged by the company that you keep. All of those things, they do have an effect on us in business and career and success. So be mindful of that when you're choosing friends and networks of people that you surround yourself by. And when you wonder why you're not getting to where you want to go, maybe take a look at who you're averaging yourself with.
That's a very good point. Thank you so very much. You know, every time you say something, you keep me thinking, keep me thinking. And I want to really thank you for this session because it's very important for young people to understand that your friends you cannot have to afford to have a mentality of a friendship must be permanent,
Mhm.
you know, because some friends are good for this season, but when the seasons change, you've got to let them go so you can embrace the next season. As you were talking about, what comes to mind is when we get to fall season, what do we see? The trees, they let go of their leaves.
That's
They
right.
drop, every one of them is like, time up, you gotta go now. Gotta go, gotta go. And what do we find ourselves doing? Having to clean all the leaves that they've shed. But come spring, they come back with beautiful new leaves on them and flowers. Like you said, the blossom. And we're looking. That's the same way our lives are meant to be. When we shed those old weights,
Mhm.
when the seasons change and you need to move to your next level, you have to find new friends, the ones that will help you at that new level. You know, one word my husband always uses says, water finds its level. Anytime, it doesn't matter what container you put the water in, it changes shape.
It's
The level changes. And that's the same way we have to be. We've got to be flexible enough to change with our seasons. When our seasons change, you've got to change. If you want to pursue your career, you know what? You have to be focused. You've got to think about, how do I get to go? What am I doing that I'm doing right? What am I doing that's not right? And I'm sure you do this also in your career, but one of the things I do is I do what I call self-appraisal. I evaluate myself. How am I doing? Am I doing what I am supposed to be doing at this stage in my life? And if I'm not, what can I change? How can I make my life better? I don't know if you want to share your experience before we wrap up on this session today, because knowing where you are, I know that's something you probably do a lot as well.
Well, I'll say two things. And the first is that statistics show that if you write things down, you're more apt to achieve them. So I always tell people to write down your goals, and then you can break your goals down into smaller things. It's just like having a pie. The pie is a whole, but when we cut it in slices, you eat a little bit at a time until eventually the whole thing is gone. So it's the same way that you attack your goals. You make a large goal and then you take little pieces until you finally accomplish what it is that you set out to do. The second thing is have an accountability partner. A lot of times we say that we want to do things, but when we have someone that we are accountable to, then we're also more apt to getting these things accomplished. So I have an accountability partner that I talk to every other week, and we check in on what we're working on. And if we have not accomplished what that goal is, we have to be accountable for why we didn't do it. And then that person is responsible to you to help you surmount what seems to be insurmountable so that you can accomplish it, and then establish what the next step is in accomplishing that goal. So it keeps you accountable. It doesn't allow you off the hook. You have to accomplish that thing and still set your next goal.
Wow. So I'll ask you a very private question on that. The person you have that you're accountable to, what's the relationship with that person? Is this somebody older, your mentor? How is that? Because I want young people to be able to understand how to find a friend to be accountable to. Or is this person your peer? How do you describe
Yeah,
the
this person is a peer. They are also in the industry where I think this is another thing that we do talk about, because I am a celebrity hairstylist and makeup artist within the industry. However, I am in the hair and makeup union, and in the union, you have to choose a craft. You cannot cross craft. So in the union, I am a union hairstylist, and this person is a union makeup artist. And we actually came through the ranks together. So she kind of knows me. She knows my past. She knows what I've been through. She's helped me accomplish my goals from the very beginning, from doing freelance work and non-union films to actually getting to the big screen. So I think it helps that she knows part of the journey, which also keeps us accountable because we know from where we've come to where we're trying to go.
So I guess with that, if we were to put this in a very easy way for young people, especially to be able to navigate, it might be a good idea to find somebody that they have similar career path with, because
Yes.
they can easily understand where they are, where they have been, and where they're going, I
They
guess.
don't have to be the same, but if they're
Mhm.
similar, then that kind of helps.
It does help. You know, now that you're saying it, you know, it just reminded me of when I was in med school that I had two friends and we were called three the hard way, because the three of us, we studied together, we did all our rotations together. And actually we used connection to make sure we're doing the same rotation when we got to our clinical years, because we studied together. So for exams, we'll go through questions together. We were all accountable. Now that you're saying it, I didn't put it that way, but now I realize that that's what we did. The three of us held ourselves accountable for where we were academically till we graduated. And so when we were doing our clinical rotations, we did the same postings so we could still study together. And we were named 3 the hard way, because that was actually something that helped the 3 of us through med school. So thank you for sharing that. Is now that I just put it together in my head that that's really what that was. So you see, young people, you can do this. Find somebody that, you're on a level, that you can trust them, you trust yourselves. And this person, you don't need to be in competition one with another, because that's the other thing. This is not somebody you're competing against. This is somebody that's looking out for you and you're looking out for. And God will lead you. How did you find that partner? Can you just share how you found your partner? Because I want people to be able to, because this session, I really want to be as practical as possible so that our young people can take something from it and apply it to their lives. How did you make a selection on who your partner will be? How did you
So
get
again, I think that this was divine appointment. So I went through an internship in New York City. And so there were, I want to say 14 of us, and we were paired together for, it was 18 months. So maybe we were paired together for 9 months.
Okay.
In the front part and 9 months on the back end. And my first partner was the worst.
So for 9 months?
We didn't get along at all. And then the second half, oh my goodness, she was just so amazing. And we clicked. And I mean, she's like one of my best friends today. And I believe that God put me in that place where I could see what I didn't need, so that when he gave me what I needed, I could appreciate it for the grandeur that it was. And she has been amazing. And we have now been friends since about 2013, and it's 2021. And we have seen each other grow. We've grown together. We've laughed together. We've cried together. And even in the midst of some of those times when it's the worst and you don't want to continue to go on, this person does not let you off the hook. She's like, okay, I hear you. I'm going to wipe your tears. We're done with that, right? Okay, now what are we going to do? And that's what you need in your life. It's okay to cry. It's okay to have a bad time. It's okay to fall down. It's okay to fail. Failure is the best teacher of how to be successful.
That's right.
But you are going to go so much further when you have that person that is helping you along the way.
Oh, God bless you, Angela. God is truly an awesome God. I'm trying to remember why I texted you when I did in April. I can't remember. You texted me. You were trying to send a text to your daughter or something.
To my niece, Ronnee.
And then you texted me, and then that's when we started talking again. And look at this. You have really been a blessing. I can't wait to do the final episode with you. Thank you so very much. God bless you and have a good one. Bye-bye.
Good night.